Castle sieges in the massive upcoming MMORPG Ashes of Creation will be absolutely insane. I was actually fortunate enough to be in the first major siege testing that Intrepid did that involved a lot of players, and I got to see even back then how crazy it was. But Intrepid has given us more details and expanded on the tech in the year plus since that happened, and I think it's time we discussed why you've definitely never done castle sieges like this before. But to properly explain this, I need to get you just a bit of context and then we'll dive deep into this siege system. So for just a minute, imagine that you're playing ESO or Guild Wars 2 or any of these other MMOs that have castle siege warfare as a major part of the game. It's 9 p.m. and you've been attacking this castle for 2 hours already. You're using trebuchets and catapults and shooting arrows at noobs standing out on the ramparts. Sometimes the defenders have the advantage, sometimes you have the advantage, just depending on which side has more players logged in at the moment. But you've got work in the morning, and you're already doing that thing you do, where you try to calculate how much sleep you'll get if you were to fall asleep right now, but there's a problem. You still haven't taken this damn castle. And so you soldier on, knowing that you're losing out on valuable sleep. You look down at the clock again and it's 11:15 and you're still not inside the castle walls. You muster up every bit of fortitude you have. You turn to your compatriots and you unleash the most inspiring speech you can think of.
What's one of our goals when we step on this field?
To do your best stick.
Okay, not even close. Our goal is to be a winner. And if your dad has said, oh, it doesn't matter whether you win or lose, just as long as you have fun, well, I hate to say it, your dad's a loser.
And it works. You and your team bust down the gate, storm into the courtyard, lay waste to everyone who stands in your way, flood into the throne room, and take the castle. Nearly 5 hours of pitched battle. But like the famous Vince Lombardi quote, you now get to lie down on the field of battle, victorious. The next morning, you drag your sorry butt out of bed, go through your entire workday like a drone on autopilot, but every once in a while, you let out a little sly smile, knowing what you accomplished last night. When you get home from work and hop back into game, you open up the map and immediately notice the castle you took last night is now in enemy hands. How did this happen? You had put forth all that effort, and come to find out, not only is it now in enemy hands, it's actually swapped hands 4 times while you were sleeping, and then another 3 while you were at work. The castle had been taken and retaken over and over and over since your inspiring speech and valiant charge to take it in the first place last night. And worse yet, nothing about the game except the color of the logo on the castle has changed. No benefits, no drawbacks, nothing. All that effort, all those hours, all that fake blood spilled for nothing. In Ashes of Creation, the process of laying sieges to a castle will start well before the day of the actual battle. Your guild will have to purchase a special scroll that will declare your intention to siege the castle, and those scrolls are not cheap. They cost money and materials. You might need to have your whole guild out chopping trees and mining stone for a week before you could even afford one of these scrolls. How expensive these scrolls will be exactly, we don't know, but we do know that they will be expensive. And then there is a series of quests that must be completed before the declaration goes through, and multiple different guilds could signal their intention to siege the same castle and be working their way through the quests at the same time. The first guild who completes the quest gets to do the siege. Once the siege has been declared, a week grace period is set up where both sides will have time to gather allies, make preparations, and generally get ready for war. Right now, sieges are expected to be 250 versus 250, but could go to as high as 500 versus 500 in the future. There will be many incentives for players to participate in both castle and node sieges, things like titles, money, materials, or even gear. The leaders on both sides will be able to pick and choose who is going to participate in the siege, further incentivizing you to master your class and participate in the social aspect of this highly social game. A day and time for the war will be announced by the server, and that time will always be during peak server time. So, the week has passed. You've gathered as many allies as you could muster, you've built catapults and rams, and you've organized your army. how does the actual siege itself play out? Now, it's highly likely that for ping and lag related reasons, that castle sieges will take place inside their own instance, with the attacking side starting at a siege camp a good distance away from the castle, and the defenders will start inside the castle throne room. On the map, there are numerous checkpoints that can be taken by the sieging team to be able to respawn closer to the castle, and they can be taken by the defending team to force the attackers to respawn further away, and then there are 3 huge raid level world boss dragons. Each of these 3 dragons have different mechanics, and when killed, will give the side that killed it a huge buff that lasts the remainder of the siege. There will also be instance objectives that either side can task small groups of players with doing that can sway the outcome of a battle or cause specific benefits or drawbacks to one party or the other. It's also highly likely that there will be PvP inside of those instances. The siege has a clock that was actually set to 1 hour in the Alpha 1, but could be longer by the time the game launches. If the attacking team hasn't taken the castle when the time expires, they lose the fight. The defenders can't just sit inside the castle walls and wait out the clock, because if the attackers kill a couple dragons, the buffs they give will make the attackers strong enough to just roll through pretty much any defenses. However, the attacking team can't just sit back and wait for the defenders to make a mistake and commit too many resources one way or the other and then attack the weak point because of the ticking clock. Both sides have to make something happen. The offense can win by channeling the throne inside the throne room, and the defense can win by the clock expiring or by killing the siege captain NPC at the attacker's siege camp. And when the battle is finally over, the final result could have world-changing ramifications. An oppressive, high-taxing, and corrupt king could have been overthrown by a new king with a more, let's say, business-friendly tax policy. Or maybe he could be an even worse tyrant. You never know. Either way, the area around the castle will be rebuilt in the month-long grace period before the castle can be sieged again, and the new king will wait in his throne room for the next challenger to lay claim to his territory. So as you can see, the 2 castle siege systems and experiences couldn't be more different. From the action and what's actually happening on the field of battle, to the effects of the battle and what happens when it's all said and done, Castle Sieges and Ashes of Creation will be insane events that the entire server will be buzzing about for weeks, instead of events that are completely forgotten by the time you lay your head down to sleep that night. Let me know down in the comments below about your MMO Castle Siege experiences. I'm sure you guys have some amazing stories and I would love to read them. Other than that, guys, that's all I've got for this video. Subscribe to the channel, please, and I'll see y'all in the next one.